out there. Hey, using the new Zig Spod Pack. Good morning, it's early January, it's freezing cold. We've decided to come down onto this beautiful water, Shearwater, just the other side of Warminster, to show you fishing zigs. Kev's got here early, just popped a rod out, hasn't even got any bait out there yet, and the rod's gone off straight away. So we'll get this one in and then we'll show you what we're going to do today.
Oh, how about that? A chunky little mirror, lovely condition. First cast, I'd only just chucked the first rod out. 9-foot zig, cast out about 80 yards. Little Betalin Black Popz. When I'm chucking out single zigs, black's my favourite colour, Betalin Black is my favourite flavour, and these pop-ups are perfect for the job. It just goes to show, because I've put no bait out there yet, and I've had a bite within sort of 15 minutes, and this is the result. You can't argue for that for January. Let's get her back, and I'm going to mix up some bait and start spodding over zigs and see if I can really get them going and have a good day's fishing. And back she goes. Well, looks like we've landed on a few fish. After the first bite, I've got my rods clipped up to sort of 20 wraps, so not overly far, 80 yards where I had the first bite from. And I've put two rods, probably about half a rod length apart on zigs. One on a bit of yellow foam, one on a black Betalin Black Popz. And I've started spodding over the top. Probably put about only 4 or 5 spods out. Literally I just wound the spod in and started reloading it, and I've had a drop back on the right hander. And is fish on. Well, we've got this fish on the bank. I've still got my spodding glove on, so I'm just going to slip that off. And it's a lot smaller, this one, only a small common, but they're all welcome no matter what time of year. But for January, they're always welcome. As you can see, this one's hooked on a little sliver of yellow foam, which has been soaked in the Betalin Black, and 4 spods over the top was enough to get the bite from this little one. Hopefully we'll catch a few more and a few better fish as well. Let's get her back.
Okay, Kev's had a few fish now. I've managed to get my rods together. Popped a couple of zigs out there. One on what I've had so many fish on this year, or last year now, on the zigs, which was the little tiny Betalin Black Popz. And I got the other one on a little yellow Popz. I can't quite remember which one this is, to be quite honest, but literally made the spod pack up, 3 spods over the top, left it at that, and then just saw a fish literally about 3 or 4 minutes after I finished spodding, show just to the left hand side, and off the rod goes. So happy days. There you go, my first carp of 2015 here down on Shearwater. Caught on a zig about 9 foot in 16 foot of water. All we've done is put 2 or 3 spods out there from the spod pack, and off it goes. So what we're going to do now is pop this one back, get the rod back out, a couple of spods on top, and then we'll show you the bait we're using today and some of the methods.
fish number 3.
There you go, we've got a couple more. Right, we've been fishing now less than 2 hours and we've already had 9 fish between us. So what we're going to do is pop these 2 back and then we're going to get that bait out, show you all the bait and leave the rods in for 10 minutes and give ourselves a bit of a break. Okay, right, now we're going to have a look at the bait we've been using today, and it starts off with our new Zig Pack. Now the Zig Pack is exactly the same as our Spod Pack, the only difference being is the nut sludge, we've completely ground it down. So what we can now use with that is the particle juice. We're going to, once we put the particle in there, we're going to fill the particle jar up with water, give it a shake around and use that lake water, which has got all the taste then of the particles that are coming out the jar. So first of all, Kev, you can put it together and get your hands dirty.
Okay, what do we want first? Right, first of all, go for the jar of hemp.
Okay, so a jar of hemp already cooked, ready to go. First of all
sealed. I've taken the seal off of it, okay, and we're just going to put it into the bucket. As you can see, there's lots of juice with it already. But this is going to be a spod mix for both of us. So we're going to put the whole jar in, and that should get us going, and that should be enough for both of us. And what do you want next then?
Pellet. Little Gems pellets are next to go in. They've proved themselves over the years how attractive, and they just draw carp into the area and they sink really slowly, so they're perfect for a zig mix.
They're absolutely devastating. They're so small. They leak off all the attractions that you want, and they've caught hundreds and hundreds of thousands of carp over the years.
Okay, so just give that a little bit of a mix round, just so that we get all the pellet down right the way through the hemp. And then what the pellet starts to do, it starts soaking in that hemp juice and all that flavour, so that every little grain of bait that's going down has got as much attraction as we can possibly give it.
Yeah, with the hemp being naturally oily as well, that soaks into the pellet and it leaks off, and you'll see when you're spodding, you'll just get that nice slick that draws down the lake, which draws the fish up to your baited area. So one of the most important parts of the mix is the nut sludge.
Okay, nut sludge, as we said, ready ground down, so there's no solid particle in there at all. Loads of powdery taste, all the different nuts and all the usual bits and pieces in there.
So it's instant basically. You just put it into the mix and put some more water into it, and you're ready to fish basically. You don't need to cook it, don't need to prepare it.
That's it.
In it goes.
Beautiful. Right, I'm going to let Kev mix this now, because this is the dirty bit. So if you have a look there, what we've got is all the bits and pieces. So it's obviously, although there was quite a lot of juice within the hemp, it's quite dry once you put everything in there. So we've got a particle jar there, which we've had a slurp around to get all those tastes from the particle in there.
Yep.
Okay, so just mix it a bit up at a time as far as the liquid's concerned. That's lovely. You know, the other thing you can do, if you fancy, you can put a bit of sweet corn in there, which normally works well on the zigs. If there's a certain boilie you want to go in there, you can put a bit of boilie in there. To be quite honest, I don't think you really need the boilie in there. You know, it's not worth going to that expense when you're actually fishing up in the water. That looks
it's starting to come together nicely. I'm just going to put a bit more sludge into there, just to make it a little bit more sloppy. And add a little bit more water as well.
And I mean, that mix, there's an awful lot in the bucket there. That's it's over 3/4 of a bucket, so plenty enough for 2 of us to use for the whole day today. And it's going to be quite a hard day of spodding, I think. We're putting out between sort of 2-3 spods at a time, getting the rods onto it. As soon as we have a take, rod back out, another couple of 3 spods back out. So just keep teasing those fish in the area. What we want to do is to have attraction there all the time, whether it's from juice, from cloud, or little tiny bits and pieces that are fluttering down through the water column.
So as you can see, that mix is ready to go. It was nice and simple to mix, doesn't take any time at all. It really is an instant bait, and you can see it's full of attraction. Now if that doesn't catch us carp today, nothing will.
Right, the other bonus you get with this now is on the normal Spod Pack, we put you in a little pot of imitation sweet corns soaked up in betalin. With this pack, you get our little Pops pop-ups, a little assortment of those in there, so it's your hook baits for the day, it's your spod mix for the day, it's everything you need. all you got to do is tie yourself a couple of rigs up and you've got enough there for a day's fishing.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is get this mix in the spods, get it back out there and see what we can catch. Okay, we've shown you now bait we're using. We just pop the rods back out again, put a couple of spods on top of them and another take straight away. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to get this one in and then we're going to get out some of the hook baits, show you the hook baits we're using, some different variations and also the ever important rigs that we're using today.
All hell's breaking loose at the moment. Bryan's had a take on his right hander, started kiting my way, then I've had a take. We thought it was Bryan's fish, but I picked up the rod and it's not. And his other rod's gone as well. I've got a fish in this one, I've just had one. He's got one on that rod, his other rod's ripping off. So we've got 3 in at once, and 1 in the net. It's just sort of kicked off. We've both just started spodding and trickling a few baits out, and I think it's warmed up quite a lot this afternoon. And I always kind of felt that this was going to happen. We've caught steadily throughout the day. Now it's just gone absolutely mental. 3 bites at once.
Betalin has been one of our all-time best sellers. Still selling now as fast as it did the day it was released. It is the ultimate hook bait dip. Now it's the same with everything. Things must move on. And last year we introduced a new product, which is the Betalin Black. Now we thought Betalin was big, but Betalin Black has caught so many big fish. It's incredible. In this country and abroad, it's been one of the key factors in a lot of people's phenomenal seasons of the last 12 months. Now this product is there, it's been out there for 12 months and it's definitely out there to stay, but we've got something even newer for you. Super buoyant hook baits. Now our pop range, the mix we've slightly changed, the buoyancy is now incredible, so they are perfect for using on zigs. This is one of the new ones. It's one that I've used in a few of the tutorials last year and certainly in my own fishing, and I know Kev has been using them extensively last year as well. The black in colour, they're loaded up with that beautiful Betalin Black and they have caught so many big fish, not just for ourselves but for many other the testers that we trickled a few out. We tried to keep them as quiet as we possibly can, but the word is out now. These are going to be one of the ultimate hook baits for this year. You can use them on zigs, you can use them on the bottom, you can use them on chods. They are that buoyant. Absolutely perfect for whatever style of fishing you want to do, and especially for those zigs.
Well, we're now coming up to midday. The action got a bit hectic earlier, so we wound in to do some of the technical bits, to have a look at the bait and everything, and we chucked the rods back out and all was quiet for a little while. So we started spodding. I probably put 8 or 9 spods out, and I was just retrieving back a spod, and I've had a take on the right hander. The take's really twitchy today. They're not really screaming off. I've had 1 melter, but quite a lot of them are twitchy, just a little couple of inch drops on the bobbin or just pull up tight, and they're the takes on the zigs. When you've got quite a long hook link, they quite often are, especially this time of year, they don't really rip off at all. Just so if you get a few, I fish a tight line, if you get a few bleeps, you know that there's going to be a fish on. It's great action in January to be catching this sort of quantity of fish. If I get this one in, this will be number 10 between us. We've only been here a few hours, so can't argue about that. You know, it's just about getting your bait right, getting the depth right on the zig, and we haven't brought a lot of tackle with us today. It's warmed up quite nicely, so I think the sun's just come out actually, and I think we'll have a chance of really getting them going and catching quite a few fish today. And I think that just keep spodding, just keep dropping a couple of spods in every 20 minutes, and I think we'll put quite a few fish on the bank.
What we're going to do now is to show you just how simple zig fishing is. The rig, how simple that is, the hook bait and the actual setup itself. So Kev, we're both using lead clips.
Yes. Yeah, I mean the rules dictate that you're not allowed lead core, so I've just got a standard sort of amount of tubing, down to a lead clip, and I don't want to be dropping the lead off every time. We're getting lots of bites today. I think we've had a dozen or more so far. I don't want to be losing the lead every time. It's, if it was weedy, then yeah, maybe, but it's not weedy, it's snag free, so I don't need to be dropping the lead. So I've got the lead clip with the tail rubber pushed on. I've got nice heavy lead because it's, you know, about 4 ounces. You want between 3 and 4 ounces really, because today is windy, so I've gone up a size in lead.
Okay.
But if there's less wind, then I use a smaller lead. It's nice and simple. I use Streamliner rig boom, which basically kicks the zig away and stops it from tangling around the lead all the time, and that is really, really important when it comes to zig fishing.
Okay.
You can see it's nice and stiff, look, so when you cast out, it always kicks it away from the
So
lead.
it's just
and stops
trying
it from
to
tangling.
stop that from coming back, because
Exactly.
it can't actually come back on itself.
No, without that there, when you cast out, your line comes straight back and wraps around the swivel most of the time, and then you end up with tangles. So that just eradicates all the tangles. So as long as you cast out and hit the clip, and your hook bait will fly over the back and it will fall nicely through the water,
Okay.
and you will never ever get a tangle.
So very, very standard setup. Just a straight bit of tubing, a lead clip system, which with whatever size lead that you prefer. We actually like using quite big leads on zigs. It helps actually set that hook. It makes it easier to control the longer hook length through the air. It's just something that Kev and myself have always done, but that's entirely down to you. And obviously making sure that when you put your rig on, you've got a long tail. Now Fox do and Drennan do them, many different companies do them. Just get yourself one of those on there, and that kicks the hook length away and stops it actually coming back. As far as the rig itself is concerned, I mean, basically all it is a knotless knot. It's a standard hair rig.
Yeah, the way I fish it, just a knotless knot, a tiny bit of tubing just on the shank of the hook, just to stop the hook bait from kicking back and bending over.
Okay.
What you find when you hook a lot of fish on zigs, they kink the hook link, and your hook bait always ends up miles back down here.
Yep.
So that just, you can see how bent it is now. So that just aligns it so that it just sits just off the top of the hook. I always use a little gap between the tubing and the hook bait, just to allow it just a little bit of movement. So yeah, as you said, it's just a straight knotless knot. I'm using a size 10 hook, and I use 12-pound double strength. Now I've used that for years and years and years. It just never lets me down, and especially on lakes like this today, where you get lots of runs, they're hard fighting fish, some of them, you want something that is never going to let you down. So we're fishing that at sort of, this one's a bit shorter, but we've been catching at 9 foot today, and it really is a simple rig. Hook bait wise, I've been using the foam soaked in Betalin Black, and I've also been using the Black Popz on the other rod. And to be honest, I was getting more on this earlier, and now I've started getting all my bites onto the black. So just emphasises the fact that you do need to keep changing the hook baits around and find the one that's working the most.
Yeah, I think everyone does something slightly different. I mean, I tend to like using the double strength fly leader, which is a little bit thicker, which keeps it that little bit straighter. I use the Fox SSBPs in an 8 hook, or the Calder wide gapes I quite like, or you know, something that's sharp enough is going to stay sharp for as long as possible on that rig. You can use the Zigger liner. I mean, Fox's Zigger liner.
I've got to go. I've got to take. I'll leave you to it.
Fox's Zigger liner has been a massive jump forward as far as rigs, because now all you need to do is tie your hook on, put one of these little liner bits on there, and you can use various different foam, coloured pieces of foam in there, which sit right up in the water. We dip those in Betalin Black. That works extremely well. You know, in fact, I've got a load of different coloured ones tied up there, so that I can use different coloured foams in them as well, depending on what colour they've got preference for on any particular day. My favourite now has got to be the Betalin Black pop-up. I mean, that on my zigs now tends to be the first thing that I put out there. The actual rig itself, you know, these ones here, already set up. I use a little yellow hair stop on the top of the Betalin Black ones, just to give it that extra bit of colour. But exactly the same as Kev's there. It's a straight knotless knot. There's a little bit of blowback tubing on there, but very, very simple to tie and very standard. You know, all it is a long hook length. Now, if you can tie a knotless knot and you can tie a little loop, then that's all it is. That simple. But effective as no other method is. You know, I think zig rigging now has come forward as being one of the best methods of catching numbers of carp, and not only small carp, you know, big carp as well. Some massive carp get caught every year on the zig. So have a look through the bits and pieces that you particularly want to use. Very simple to put together. Get yourself a few tied up, get out on the banks and give it a go.
Well, it's been about an hour or so now since our last bite. We kind of stopped fishing a bit. We left the rods out and we had a look at the tackling bait, and whilst we stopped putting the bait out, it went a bit quiet, so I've just got the spod rod back out. I've only put 3 spods out, and the left-hander's away again, so it just goes to show that as soon as that spomb goes out there, just that little bit of bait in the area, and it sort of draws them in, they come looking for it.
There you go, nice couple of fish to finish off. We actually had 4 fish in the nets at the same time there. Pop the other 2 back. It's been a brilliant day's fishing. We've had a shed load of fish, all on the new Zig Spod back. You've got everything in there you could possibly need. Your hook baits and all your bait for a good day's fishing for a couple of people, and we still got, I don't know, a quarter of a bucket of that left over. So we're going to just tidy our stuff up and thankfully call it a day and go and have a bit of a rest. But you know, don't forget, change around those hook baits. Some days it's foam, some days it's pop up, some days it's black, yellow, red. It's well worth messing about with. Different depths as well. You know, we plumbed for 9.5 foot in 16 foot of water, and straight away started having action. You know, there's no point playing about then. So this time of the year, we're in the summer, get out there and give it a go yourself. It really is good fun, and it's lovely to put a load of fish on the bank at this time of the year.